And there's another aspect to our success, and that is the success of the American synagogue. Yes, I know there are those who say that synagogues are not as important as they once were, who claim that times have changed and we no longer need to be connected to a place and a community. We live in an era of globalization, and this means, they say, that our contact with other people can be through electronic media. After all, you don't even have to walk out the door to shop anymore. You can buy practically everything you need online. And this, in fact, is how many of us live. Leisure time is now spent alone in front of a computer screen that gives us more information than we could ever possibly use, or in front of a television set that presents us with show after show of really, really stupid reality TV. But as everyone in this room knows, none of this really works. None of this adds meaning to our lives. And that's why we still come together in religious communities. There are more than 300,000 religious congregations in North America and more than 2,000 synagogues. In the Reform movement alone, we're on our way towards 1,000 Reform synagogues. And why are synagogues thriving? Because they provide direction to those who feel helpless in the face of life's complexity. Because we resist the solitude that the computer imposes. Because we Jews are the people of the covenant. And our lives take on meaning when we practice the ancient and enduring traditions that bind us to our people and to our unique Jewish destiny. And the best evidence of what synagogues can do is to be found right here at Temple EmanuEl. And what kind of a congregation is Temple EmanuEl? I know your rabbi and our classmates. I know you by reputation. I thought it would be a good idea to get some first-hand, up-to-date information. And so in the last several weeks, I've spoken to a number of your leaders and staff members. The process was an interesting one. All of our movement synagogues are unique, of course, but who would deny that Temple EmanuEl is in a category of its own? Even now, when times are tough for all synagogues, you are thriving. This is a congregation that takes prayer seriously, that takes music seriously. Reformed congregations no longer want a formal style of worship that consists of stand up, sit down, read responsibly. They want to see prayer as an essential human and humanizing act. They crave a participatory worship experience. Above all, they want music that is warm, accessible, and community-building. You've done that here at Temple EmanuEl, led by your amazing cantorial soloist, Deborah Barnes, inspired by her personality and her glorious voice. You're a congregation that really sings. You have a temple choir and a temple band, and inspiring music for the high holidays, and a music program that reaches every age group. In short, you have an approach to worship and to music that is thoughtful and that is creative, and that's neither afraid to embrace more tradition nor hesitant to experiment with change. And this is a congregation that understands the importance of Jewish education. This is a matter of special importance to me. In my years as president, I've challenged synagogue leaders to lift up a whole generation of Reform Jews from the stifling ignorance that has too often been their companion, and to help them become competent and literate Jews. I've reminded them that too often our members are wonderfully educated in the ways of the world, but abysmally ignorant in the ways of our people. And I've warned of the danger of assuming that religious school is doomed to failure. Too often religious school is seen as a punishment for being young, a burden passed from parent to child with the following admonition: I hated it, you'll hate it, and after your bar mitzvah you can quit. You can't quit, by the way. Well, here at Temple EmanuEl, religious school is a source of strength and not of weakness. You teachers have been teaching at the school for 20 years or more. And your religious school is a place where children are always smiling. And because you know that Jewish camps are the place where young Jews stretch both their Jewish muscles and their Jewish minds, you send children to Eisner Camp every year. And Crane Lake. And your professionals teach Introduction to Judaism and Biblical Hebrew and Adult Beginning Hebrew and Lunch and Learn, and you have that extraordinary class every year of Adult B'nai Mitzvah. In short, this is a congregation that believes in the transformative transforming power of Torah and that knows you cannot be a conscientious objector in the war against Jewish ignorance. And there are many other things that I could talk about as well, your devotion to social justice, your trips to Israel, your sisterhood and brotherhood, your outreach to intermarried families and Jews by choice. But the single most important thing about this congregation is not any particular program or activity. What's distinctive about Temple EmanuEl is that it's a Hamish and a warm congregation. A synagogue filled with good, down-to-earth people. A congregation that's a wonderful place to find and keep friends. This is a place where new members are included and appreciated, and where strangers are greeted on a Friday night. This is a place with no cliques, no in-crowd, no out-crowd. A place where everyone pitches in and that extends a loving hand to every embattled soul. A place when you are not there, someone misses you, and where no member suffers alone or grieves alone. A place where a Jew can say with confidence, I belong here. One member said, my husband and I have never met a snobbish person in our temple. A little hard to believe, but an interesting sentiment. Another said, it's like on the television show Cheers, it's a place where everybody knows your name. And how did you get to be this kind of place? You have wonderful ladies. You have a board that is a great combination of younger and older, of veterans and rookies. When new members join, and you have 20 new families this year alone, you bend over backwards to make them feel at home and part of the community. And you have a great staff. I already mentioned Sherry, but most of all, you have Rabbi Aaron Rosenberg. You know, we live in an era when it's normal and expected for rabbis to move from congregation to congregation every few years. We live at a time when tension between rabbis and synagogues is unfortunately commonplace. Yet Temple EmanuEl has been blessed with the leadership of Rabbi Rosenberg for 30 years, and in that time he has become the heart and soul of the congregation and the compass that gives it its Jewish direction. People join because of Rabbi Rosenberg. People stay because of Rabbi Rosenberg. And it's not at all surprising. He's easy to talk to. He knows everybody. He recognizes everybody's face. He makes everybody feel comfortable and at ease. There's a wonderful personal touch of the mitzvah, celebrating not only the child, but the family as well. He's accessible, a good listener, a good sense of humor. And he's the kind of rabbi you can't imagine saying a bad word about anybody. And this above all, Rabbi Rosenberg really understands the fundamental premise of synagogue life, that this is the one place in the Jewish community where everybody is unique and valued and a bearer of God's image, no matter who you are or how much money you have. And when there is a life cycle event or someone is in the hospital or otherwise in need, he's always there, thoughtful, caring, approachable. He's a great, great rabbi. You're very fortunate to have. I hope you appreciate it. And where do you go from here? Hard to say. Temple EmanuEl is now 50 years old, a middle-aged congregation by American standards, and middle-aged people can become set in their ways. But I'm reminded of Martin Buber's statement that the way to remain young is to continue to innovate. That's quite right, it seems to me, and I have no doubt you'll do just that. The Baal Shem Tov, the founder of the Hasidic movement, famously noted that the Jewish people are like a living Torah scroll, and every individual Jew is a letter within it. If a single letter is damaged or missing or incorrectly drawn, a Torah scroll is considered invalid. So too in Judaism, each individual is considered a crucial part of the people without whom the entire religion would suffer. And so each congregation, whether large or small, urban or rural, contributes to the inner pulse and power of Judaism, enhancing our dignity and testifying to our faith. This is what Temple EmanuEl is, part of the unbroken conversation of Torah, a letter in the scroll, a visible symbol of holy community for your members and for the Jewish people, a guarantor of eternal life. Mazel tov on this joyous occasion, and thank you for what you do. Shabbat shalom.